Good morning. This is Rich Nass, Executive Vice President with Open Systems Media. I am the leader of the embedded and the IoT franchises here for Open Systems Media, and I'm here for this week's installment of 5 Minutes With. This week, I have the pleasure of speaking with Lou Lutostanski, who is the Vice President of IoT for Avnet. Good morning, Lou.
Good morning, Rich. How are you?
I'm good, and I did pretty good on your name, didn't I?
You did perfect on my name.
I throw in my Jersey accent there, and it all just everything sounds great. So you guys are doing IoT like everybody else. Everybody wants to be in the IoT business. My question for you, and I often get confused about this, you guys are doing IoT, and the chip vendors are doing IoT, and everybody has all this information, and a lot of the really good information comes from the processor vendors who have, almost everybody has a development board to go with it. So my question for you is, why would somebody look to a distributor who, in days past was a distributor and you went to them for your parts? Why would they be coming to you for information?
Well, Rich, first of all, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. And you ask a great question. And I would say from an answer to your question, I would start off by saying there's two major things. One is they would come to a distributor for objectivity, and secondly, they've come to us for solutions versus parts. So let me explain. On the objectivity piece, I actually worked for a semiconductor manufacturer for 12 years prior to joining Avnet. And suffice it to say that when you're working for a supplier in manufacturing semiconductors, you don't have the option of passing on parts that you want to promote or don't want to promote. You have to sell all the parts, whether they're good or bad. And the thing I've learned over life is not all parts are created equal. Some are better than others. Some work, some don't work. Some last a long time, some don't. Some are very cost-effective, and some are not. So I would say from a standpoint of talking directly to manufacturers, oftentimes every part they have is going to be a great part that they promote. In distribution, for example, at Avnet, we have over 600 suppliers. We see them all, and we are in a unique position to pick out the best of the breed. You know, our value proposition to our customers are guiding them to use the best parts, the most cost-effective parts on the right application. So that's one. And second is, in distribution, because we've had to migrate up the value chain, we become specialists in selling solutions versus parts. So in a solution sell, you have to have multiple parts congregated together to perform some kind of function. It's difficult for most suppliers to do that because they only have a few of the parts on the overall board. So I think the solution selling is the big piece. Relative to IoT, you're absolutely right. There's a tremendous amount of information out there, and suppliers are attaching IoT to almost every part they make because people expect suppliers to be engaged in IoT to some certain fashion or not. And some of them are, but some of them aren't, and they're labeling parts IoT. So again, on the solution selling relative to IoT, we actually have an integrated solutions business where we actually work on gateways and also cloud. And we have an ecosystem we're developing that will take us beyond cloud. So it extends really the solution in IoT beyond the device, but all the way through the cloud.
Okay, you sort of got me there because that makes a lot of sense, and makes a lot more sense than I was thinking you were going to make. With all due respect.
Well, that's encouraging. Thank you.
Okay, so let's take that to the next level. Let's assume that what you're saying is true, and I don't have any reason to believe that it's not. The distributor is a good place to turn for that information. Okay, now I'll let you do the little pitch. Why Avnet? There's lots of distributors, and they're all really smart people. So what makes you guys better than the other folks that you compete with from a distribution level?
I think for one thing, we've got scale. We've got 15,000 global customers. We represent over 600 suppliers and have 110,000 customers in 125 countries. So unique to us, we're a broadline distributor. So we have semiconductors, interconnect, passive, and electrical mechanical devices. All of these things can be put together to form solutions, and it's really, really hard for specialty distributors to do solution selling. So I think that makes it very, very well. Beyond that, it's just the sheer execution that we're going to have over people in our similar geography and our similar skill set. So we're trying to here develop an IoT program that takes us from edge to enterprise and beyond the cloud. so that we can put all of the pieces together and give people the best possible advice, regardless of what they're looking for in IoT.
And I assume you have partnerships in place with some of these other providers to grease the skids, as they say, for a developer.
Absolutely. I mean, we spoke at IoT World a couple weeks ago in Santa Clara, and it is just mass confusion of all the different ecosystem people out there. And, of course, you can't work with everybody every time. So you've got to go through the process of delineating who has what, how they match up to your offering, and how you can create solutions with a minimal number of partnerships so that you can give, the least risk and the best solution to prospective customers.
I have to say, Lou, you sort of turned I won't say a non-believer, but a questionable believer into a believer.
Well, thank you, Rich.
And I'm not always the easy one to turn, as a lot of people will tell you. I would definitely like to thank you for taking 5 minutes out of your very busy day to put this into a different perspective for me.
Again, Rich, I really appreciate the opportunity to be on, and hopefully we can do this again sometime soon.
Very good. That was Lou Lutostanski. He is the Vice President for the Internet of Things Group at Avnet, and I'm Rich Nass with Open Systems Media. Have a great day, Lou.
Hey, thanks, Rich.